get off the bus? Why don't you get off the bus?
Was that your campaign is intimidating, that it's been at times thuggish, and that it has made people fear even saying sometimes they go away.
This is Labour propaganda. Unless you can give me evidence on that, I'm just going to treat it with this day. What Labour is really complaining about, as Dan Hodges said in the Mail on Sunday, is, and I quote him, all strategists agree that Galloway is eating the Labour vote alive, which explains why I always feel for it. We are taking thousands of Labour votes away from them. That people are saying, you say that people are saying, nobody said that to me, and unless you've got evidence of it, I'm just going to treat it as your narrative.
If you don't mind me saying, there's a slightly, how do I describe it, almost dictatorial air to your campaign. It's big posters.
You're thuggish or dictatorial. Is there any point in this interview?
These big posters just trying to find out what's going
dictatorial?
on here.
What's dictatorial about?
These enormous posters, you telling
Well,
me a
you're
big Range Rover in your house.
It's not a big Range Rover, it's a 20-year-old Range Rover that hardly runs. My hat is because I've got scars on my head where I was assaulted in a political assault, which you didn't cover, funnily enough, at the time. If you had, maybe further episodes of political violence might not have happened. So look, if you've come here to insult me or put me on trial, first I've got a thuggish campaign, then my posters are dictatorial.
I've seen some issues too that other people have brought up.
They haven't. I don't believe anyone's brought up about our posters. It's an election. We're fighting a fund election. You seem to be having fun, but you've got your agenda already on your notebook before you actually experience anything here.
There's no agenda, I'm just here to ask questions.
I think your viewers have already discerned what your agenda is. You asked me 3 questions about Jeremy Corbyn. What's he got to do with this?
Well, you brought up his drama and his track record, and so I was just comparing it to Jeremy Corbyn. We just talk about politics. I mean, we're talking about the campaign.
I'm really offended by that dictatorial comment. I really am. We have banners and posters.
We can have conversations where people it's okay to be offended, right? Or sorry, is this a bit woke, I suppose? You can't be offended.
No, the point is you've got a Channel 4 news program and you've got an agenda. It's written all over your face. It's written in every question you've asked me so far.
How is it written on my face?
Here.
Trust me. Anyway, if you've got any serious questions,
I do have some serious questions. There have been reports of campaign messages being circulated about him, Ledbeater, that are homophobic, that are suggesting to people that they shouldn't vote for him because of her sexuality. Would you like to condemn that if that's going around in this campaign?
Well, again, I have got no evidence of that, but if there are such messages, they didn't come from me or my campaign. I didn't even know that she was a lesbian until it was written in the newspapers. I'm utterly uninterested in her sex life, trust me. We're fighting here to win votes from all parts of the community. Labour are losing, so they're hurling these, frankly, Islamophobic slurs at a whole community of 25,000 people. One of my most prominent, it's Islamophobic to imply that the people who live round here are not voting Labour because the Labour candidate is a lesbian. That is Islamophobic. It's not true. There is no evidence of it.
The Labour Party are saying that these are just reports, that those messages have been circulated.
Well, I'm telling you, I haven't seen these messages, and I did not know her sexuality until I read it in the Mail on Sunday.
Okay. So it's not Islamophobic.
It is. In fact, it's been described as an Islamophobic term by Labour Muslims, by the Labour Muslim network. It's been condemned as unacceptable by the deputy leader of the Labour Party. People are because Muslim voters are turning away from Labour, being routinely insulted and smeared, and I really don't like it.
Well, let me ask you this question. As you've been reported in some of the polls, and as you have said, you are eating into the Labour vote here, and the votes that you seem to be taking are largely from the Muslim community.
It's not true either. You have no basis for saying that. I don't know when you arrived here, but if you'd arrived here earlier, you would have seen me on almost 100% white working class moving vote after vote. It's just not, your thesis is false.
Well, let me put it this way then. You are winning over many Muslim voters
We
here.
are, for sure.
Why is that?
Because of 50 years of work defending Muslims from unfair attack, slander, smear, and because of my work on Kashmir, on Palestine, against Prime Minister Modi's oppression of Indians in Gujarat. I didn't come here yesterday. I didn't join politics until social media, YouTube provides evidence of decades of my work on issues that matter.
But the thing that I'm
Muslim
interested
people.
in is how does this differentiate you from the Labour Party, because they have stuck up over
Why don't you
decades
ask
for the Muslim
ask the
community.
voters that? Why are you asking me?
You're standing against the Labour Party,
Yeah, but
so I'm trying to figure
I'm
out
standing
why.
against all the
But you
parties.
used to be a Labour
You're,
MP, so
you're,
it's an
you're
obvious
asking
question.
me why Muslims are turning to me. Why don't you ask them?
Well, to interview you because you're campaigning.
Well,
That's the point of it.
I
We will be
I
asking.
don't
We
know.
will be asking
I don't
voters
know.
why
But
you're
you've
turning
already
to them.
made a false assertion that I'm mainly getting votes from Muslims. That's completely false. And you have no basis for saying it.
Okay, we'll see on polling then. So, I mean, I guess the other question that I want to ask you is, which is again something that people have put to us, although I'm sure you'll say it's my fault.
Not again. How many of these?
You don't even know what
I'm not you're not my interrogator.
I'm
You're
just
not my judge. Do you want to know about the issues in this election, or are you going to put a series of slurs and smears to me?
It's just what people here have been saying to us that they can't speak to you about it, so we're doing it on their behalf.
Oh yeah?
That's
Public service and all that.
being a
Yeah?
journalist.
Public service and all that.
It's public service and all that.
Right.
That people have suggested to us that you don't really have much ideology, and that
People in Batley said I don't really have much ideology. That's quite an interesting question to come up from the streets of Batley.
I don't think that they're not saying that.
I don't have much ideology. My ideology has been in front of the people for half a century.
The suggestion was that you are a political opportunist,
Well,
and that you take moments like this to push yourself into the limelight.
You asked
to
me
promote
for this
yourself.
interview. I did not ask you for this interview. You
This is
asked.
a normal political interview. We put these
I'm not
difficult-
pushing
we
myself
put
into
difficult-
your limelight.
we
You
put-
brought your limelight to me.
You're pushing yourself into the limelight by being a by-election candidate.
Well, but I didn't ask for this limelight.
You agreed to it.
You
and we
pleaded. You pleaded for this
put
limelight.
difficult questions to every politician.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yes,
I
we
wish
do.
that you did. This, the opportunist was the previous MP who left the people here in the lurch and doubled her wages by going on to what she imagines to be a better job. We've only got a by-election here because the Labour MP resigned. And what did you want? Nobody to turn up to oppose them? That's all I'm doing. I'm exercising my democratic right to stand in an election. I did not ask you to come on this bus. You pleaded to come on this bus. I'm not seeking publicity from Channel 4 News. You're seeking to interview me. But all you've done so far is actually put a series of baseless, evidence-free slurs
Things
to
that
me.
people have said to us around
Well,
here that we
you
put to
say
you because that
you
is
say
the
that
point
they
of covering
you say
a
that
by-election
you
campaign.
say that they said them to you. They haven't said them to me, and I have no evidence of what you're saying. You said we were thuggish. Give me some evidence.
It's just a discussion that we're having.
No, it's not a very nice discussion. It's
No,
very,
I
very,
agree.
it's very, very far.
Not pleasant.
It's very, very far from proper journalistic practice. But that's what I expect from Channel 4. Perhaps I shouldn't have agreed to it in the first place. Do you want any real questions?
I think there it is.
That's 6 in a row. 6 slurs in a row. Do you want to know anything about what's happening here?
We're here to find out what's happening here. We've been speaking to a lot of different people, and we think these are the issues that they would want us to put to you on their behalf.
People have been personal attacks.
When people say to me, this man is intimidating me in this violence.
Have you got someone on camera saying that?
Because they feel intimidated
Oh.
and they don't want to say
Oh.
that.
I see. So I've got to take your word for that. Excuse me if I count my spoons. I think so. Why don't you get off the bus?
The viewers are saying kick him off.
Even by Channel 4 standards, I made that was a poor interview. Good afternoon to you.
Right. Okay, can you open doors? Can you open doors, please?
I nearly fell down the bus.
So you have to get off here? If you don't mind.
There's a bus stop just down there, guys.
We need to get him to switch the mic on when he starts the bus. But he needs to start the bus first.
It's
Good look. It's not a good look.
okay, I think.
We're just here. Interview's over. They're getting kicked off the bus. Channel 4. Huh? You've got the full recording. You can listen to it. Huh?
George, it were broadcast live on the YouTube on Society X. So we've got the full unedited footage here.
No, nothing happened. Okay. Is there any taxi they can catch or?
When is it going to be here? Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
So that's the only news I watch. Channel 4. I'll be telling you that. That's the truth.
Thank you very much. This gallery doesn't seem to approve.
That's what we want. As long as if it's not biased, it should be on.
You did attack him quite a bit, didn't you?
That's what they do.
Premeditated questions. It were a massive attack.
They always have negative views on
You're supposed to be impartial, are you not? Why can't you remain
All
impartial?
questions are premeditated.
Yeah, but he's premeditated to an agenda, so why wasn't you impartial with him?
It's been scripted from the top, isn't it?
There's not just one side of a community here in Batley, there's two sides, three. Why can't you be impartial?
I just write the questions out.
No, but come on, did somebody bring down your neck?
No, just me. I write it myself. Look, does that look like someone wrote it for me? Does that look like someone wrote it for me?
George?
Alright.
Pleasure to meet you
It
guys.
was nice to meet you.
Thank you. What about